Welcome back. Turns out that the thing I thought you could hear is a little bit earlier. If you contact the Enterprise right after Scotty first tells you about the virus, he will tell you about how good Uhura is with computers and how surprised he is by that. Unfortunately, I missed my opportunity to overhear that conversation. I don't know if the original series ever mentioned that Uhura was good with computers. I seem to remember it does, but I'm not sure. I know it doesn't mention it in the library computer entry in the game if you research her. Anyway, let's take a look in this room.
You are in a corridor that connects to 3 other chambers. This door appears to be very solid. This doorway leads back to the security lock and outside. This doorway leads to another area of the complex. You are in a corridor that can... This panel is designed to receive an ID card to make the door open.
An ID card? That might be a little bit harder to do than a code. Although we are fresh out of significant numbers to guess, so maybe it's a good thing.
James Kirk seems relieved by the good news from his ship. So far, this mission has been boring from a medical standpoint.
Sorry we can't provide more excitement for you, McCoy.
Spock, deep in thought, analyzes the Lucre computers. As soon as this mission is over, Ensign Mosher is going to write his sister, who serves on board Pegasus Science Station, and gloat about everything he's seen.
Okay.
At least the Enterprise is safe.
Unless the computers decide to send more powerful viruses to the Enterprise.
Then we're just going to have to prevent that.
Okay, I guess we will have to.
When I retire from Starfleet, I'm going to write one heck of an autobiography.
Fascinating, Doctor. I look forward to reading it.
But that way I can finally get someone to listen to me.
He doesn't retire for a while. I mean, I guess he kind of retired before the motion picture, but then he was dragged back into Starfleet. And then last we saw him, he was like an admiral and 130 years old in the pilot episode of The Next Generation. So, not sure if he was in Starfleet that whole time.
Please allow me to concentrate, Captain.
Well, excuse me.
This machinery is incredible. Are all your landing missions this much fun? I might never leave this place.
Okay. It's all fun and game until a red shirt gets killed.
Circuits and atmosphere pumps are hidden in the walls. Circuits and atmosphere pumps are hidden in the walls.
Yeah, and I believe that in order to get full score on this mission, you have to use your tricorder on the general room here without just scanning a specifically highlighted item. If you don't, you will be stuck with 97% at the end, which will only give you 3 commendation points. You will only get 4 if you have 100%.
This panel has a slot in it rather than a keypad. The slot bears traces of triphosphorus silver, and power is currently running to it. I am recording the pattern of this lock into my tricorder.
Interesting. The rock's outside of triphosphorus silver, so maybe we can use that somehow to fashion a new keycard.
This door is made from remarkably dense alloys. Even our most powerful phaser rifle or welder would not be able to penetrate it.
The thing must be almost as tough as a starship hull.
Indeed, Ensign, and considerably thinner. A remarkable achievement in metallurgical engineering.
That's a lot of explanation just to say you can't phaser through this door.
Nothing to report, Captain. Nothing to report, Captain. Circuits and atmosphere pumps are hidden in the walls.
There are a few stress fractures on this beam, but it still looks to be quite sturdy.
Well, let's hope it won't cave in on us. Didn't realize you could look at the beam. And there seems to be only one way we can go, except the way we came. I don't think you can Go south from here? Nope. So let's head this way.
Can't say I like the decor.
The Lucars did not leave behind many examples of their architecture.
I can see why.
Captain, with the 3K AG content of the surface rocks and the tricorder scan of the pattern inside the lock, I believe the laser drill can be used to fashion the ID card needed to open the sealed door in the other chamber.
Interesting. That would be useful. And yeah, their architecture is nothing to write home about, I guess.
This room looks like it was once used for some type of mining operation. This room looks like it was once... You look but see nothing of note. This room looks like it was... This is a laser drill control panel. This is an ancient laser drill.
I guess they just used that to mine out these caverns. I don't think they actually mined for resources here. Although, maybe they want to try phosphorus silver for something.
These are display panels for the laser drill. You look but see nothing of note. You look but see nothing of note. A closed box sits on the floor. James T. Kirk, captain of the USS Enterprise. Ensign Mosier scouts for signs of trouble, as well as glancing at the great-looking laser drill. Dr. McCoy again wonders why he even came along. Mr. Spock puzzles over the illogical design of some of these circuits.
It's kind of weird that Kirk always gets the least interesting descriptions.
You're right. This is a mess.
Looks like a museum piece to me, Captain.
This is one heck of a museum, Ensign.
Still a mess, though.
True.
Why was I even brought down on this mission, Jim? I'm a doctor, not a welder.
This technology is cruder and less efficient than the rest of the complex, Captain.
McCoy and his "I'm a doctor, not a blank" exclamations. Always fun.
The mine shaft was drilled out of the lunar rock by a laser device similar to the one mounted in the ceiling. The drill is unremarkable, except its aiming component is corroded and frozen in place.
Okay, so we cannot move it, I guess.
Unlike the surface rocks, the ore here is unremarkable. These are display panels for the laser drill. They are still functional. I used the keycard pattern scanned from the lock to program the drill. It should now be able to make a template of the keycard in the rock. These are display...
Okay, well, let's see that. Let's try that then. I guess it wants us to make a template in the rock before we actually use the silver rocks. So, Spock, use the key panel. Actually, wait. I want to scan the box.
A storage box of some kind. I detect no dangerous substances.
Can we open that? Alright. It's in there.
This box contains old wire and connectors.
Always useful, I guess.
A length of wire with some sort of connector at each end.
Might be useful for something. Well, let's see what we can do with this laser drill. Try firing it. So we have a choice of 3 settings. 1, 1, 0, and 1, 0, 0, which I guess in trinary would be 1, 3, and 9, I believe. Let's just try the highest setting. Actually, no, let's start with the lowest one. That did not do much. That still didn't do much. There we go.
The laser drill has cut a template for the keycard in the stone.
So now we hopefully should be able to put our triphosphate silver here and have it melt into the template. Let's just try the lowest setting. That seems to have done it.
This is a keycard made from the triphosphate silver rock.
Let's take that. Alright.
A duplicate of the pass card you made from triphosphate silver.
Let's see if that gets us into that door. Considering how strong that door is, I'm guessing something important is behind it. It worked.
This appears to be the brain of Scythe. There are two identical but isolated computers that communicate with a third, which controls the launch of missiles.
Interesting. There also seem to be some missiles in the room, and what looks like to be a radiological hazard sign. Wait, why would they be using the same symbol for that as we do? It probably means we don't want to be in this room for very long.
The control center for the base. Computers and nuclear missiles fill the room. This computer is marked with the first letter of the Lunar alphabet. This computer is marked with the last letter of the Lunar alphabet. This computer controls the launch of missiles. It is directly controlled by the other computers.
Yeah, we can see those two computers are connected by a cable running along the floor to the central one.
Missiles of death and destruction. The Lunar believed that you could never have enough of them.
I know some other people like that.
This door is marked with a radiation hazard symbol.
Probably means we should not go there. Anything else? I don't think so.
Captain James T. Kirk, fingering his communicator, wonders if anything else is happening aboard his ship.
Try to find out.
Nothing to report, Captain.
The answer's no.
These instruments of war make Spock uncomfortable, but he says nothing.
I think being near nuclear missiles would make anybody uncomfortable.
Ensign Mosier awaits orders. Dr. McCoy takes several deep sighs and closes his eyes.
I don't have anything to say right now, Bones.
These warheads are not a very efficient delivery system, Captain.
Who needs efficiency when the end of the world is everywhere around here?
Curb your emotions, Doctor. They serve no constructive purpose here.
There's nothing constructive about this place, Spock. It's an obscenity.
I agree with McCoy.
No intruders, Captain. I think everyone died a long, long time ago. I wonder what caused it.
For people with emotions, Ensign, there are many things that can cause hatreds. And each new hatred breeds more hatred and makes the path of peace harder to find.
It's easy to say when you're not involved personally, Mr. Spock. But when people have treated you like a second-class being because you were different, hate can become the only thing they can't take away from you. That is what started most of the firestorms of history.
Well, gentlemen, here's one fire we can put out. Let's go to work.
I think I've said it before, but I just love how much the dialogue feels like actual Star Trek dialogue.
I wish I hadn't seen any of this.
Sometimes it's useful to confront the dark side of our nature, that which we might become.
I think that's like half the point of science fiction. Let's do some scanning.
All three of the computers in this room are fully operational.
That's impressive.
This computer directly controls the missile launch system. There is no way to interface with it directly, but the other two computers are accessible. This computer is functional and performing an average 1.2 million operations per second. This computer is functional and performing an average 0.75 million operations per second.
Wait, are those supposed to be different?
A crude uranium-235 nuclear device with lithium-beryllium shells to increase heavy particle fallout. Readings indicate an extremely high radiation level beyond those doors. It would be fatal to proceed beyond them.
Let's not then. Hopefully we can do what we need to do in this room. Let's see what Spock can make of those computers. Let's start with the first letter of the alphabet one first.
Welcome to Side Operations Center, Alpha Unit. Estimated time to optimal launch range is 3.21 hours adjusted.
Apparently, they used the Greek alphabet. Kind of weird. I guess that's just a universal translator. How about the other computer? Which I suppose would then be the Omega unit.
Welcome to Side Operations Center, Omega Unit. Estimated time to optimal launch range is 1.31 hours adjusted.
Captain, something is wrong with the computers. They may be twins, but they are not identical.
It appears they are out of sync, Captain. I have to assume the Alpha unit has a virus, which is using up an incredible amount of computing time.
They report different optimum launch times, which is right.
Given the elliptical orbit and the range at which they will pass Proxtree, the Omega unit is correct, but the window is very narrow. A variation of minutes will mean the missiles run out of fuel and fall harmlessly into the sun.
Can you reprogram the Lucas computer to give us that time, Mr. Spock?
Reprogramming an old alien computer is not simple, Captain. The odds against success are 10,221 to 1 against.
Too bad old Omega here couldn't just take a sick day and miss the firing.
Because the two machines are isolated, the virus did not spread from one to the other.
If we could only bridge them.
That is indeed a good reason to have two independent computers, to make sure that if one fails, you still have one working correctly. Although wouldn't you need three? Because now you can't tell which one is correct. Either way, I guess that is the same virus that it managed to transmit to the Enterprise and infect us with, which means we can cure that virus, but that's not what we want to do. Instead, we want to actually infect the other computer with the virus, so it too will make the incorrect calculation, and the missiles will not hit. To do that, we need to bridge the two computers, because they are isolated. And fortunately, we found this cable, which I guess is the Lucas equivalent of a USB cable. Although considering this game was made in '92, probably more a serial link cable. Or a crossover Ethernet cable, I guess. Lots of ways to connect two computers together. Let's see if we can connect those.
The connector snaps into place.
That seems to have worked, judging by the music. Fortunately, the cable was long enough. And at this point, we need to check our work by having Spock use the computers again. And for reasons that nobody can understand, you have to start with the Alpha unit. If you look at the left one first and then the right one, you don't get full score. You have to look at the right one and then the left one.
Welcome to Side Operations Center, Alpha Unit. Estimated time to optimal launch range is 3.21 hours adjusted.
That's still the same as it was before. Can we actually tell the difference by tricorder too?
This computer is functional and performing an average 1.2 million operations per second. This computer is functional and performing an average 0.75 million operations per second.
No, that's still the same number.
Welcome to Side Operations Center, Omega Unit. Estimated time to optimal launch range is 1.54 hours. Adjusted.
The launched missiles will run out of fuel before they reach Proxtree. They will drift into the sun and burn up.
We did it! We saved
Enterprise,
Proxtree.
how are the transporters, Scotty?
They're operational again, Captain. We're ready to bring you back at any time.
Bring us home.
Message from Starfleet.
On screen, Lieutenant.
We have read your report on the problems at Proxima 3 and evaluating performance at 100%. You and your crew received 4 commendation points. A perfect mission, Jim. You are a model for all Starfleet.
Hard to believe that Earth came so close to the brink itself.
Vulcans, too. Both, in the end, looked into the abyss and came to the only logical conclusion.
Logic? Humans? I'm dreaming, Jim.
Sometimes it is harder and braver to make peace rather than war.
Sounds like emotion had its part to play in a positive sense, too.
I don't know about you, but I'd like to bid an emotional goodbye to Alpha Proxima myself.
Take us out of orbit, Mr. Suda.
Vengeance.
Captain's log. We are arriving at the last known position of the USS Republic, which reported that it was under attack 12 hours ago.
Captain, the ship's sensors have picked up what appears to be a starship. Minimal life support, minimal engine power, and only 2 life forms, one on the bridge, the other in sickbay. Both appear to be gravely injured. It is the Republic.
The Republic is the ship against which we had a mock battle.
Spock, come with me. Mr. Scott, you have the con.
I am preparing an information packet for Starfleet. Shall I send it or wait for you to return?
Send it now. If a hostile ship arrives, head immediately for Starbase 24.
Although, by the looks of this, whatever did this to it was not any kind of mock. That is not looking good for the Republic over there. I wonder who would do that. Also, I just want to follow up a little bit on that last mission. Yeah, that one is notoriously hard to get the 100% on if you are not following a guide. Myself, when I was replaying this game before to practice, kept ending up with 97%, and then I couldn't figure it out, even replaying the mission. So then you look it up, and then you find that, oh, you have to do the computers in the right order, otherwise you'll get 97%. But I was already doing the computers in the right order, just by pure accident. So that was not the problem I was having. It turned out that what I was actually missing was tricordering the room with the keycard door. Because I would usually just tricorder all the things in the room, but not the room itself. And this is the only place in the game, as far as I know, where you need to do that to get full score. For some reason, only in that room. Very weird. But I did everything right and got 100%. And now we have to deal with the Vengeance. Wait, Jesse Baines is here? Probably somebody else's Vengeance. And we have to choose whether or not we want to send a data packet to Starfleet right now. Or...
wait until we get back. No sense giving Starfleet incomplete information. If anyone else arrives, beam us aboard and raise shields immediately. Send it now. If a hostile ship arrives, head immediately for Starbase 24.
I think that's the better choice. No sense in leaving Starfleet in the dark.
My God! God, Jim, what kind of butcher would do something like this?
I don't know, Bones. We're too far from the Klingon and Romulan borders for it to be one of their ships.
Enterprise to Captain Kirk.
Kirk here. What is it, Scott?
We picked up a distress signal. It appears a trading vessel is having a wee bit of trouble with their warp drive. What condition is the Republic in?
It's a mess, Scotty. Life support's functioning, but that's about it.
I've done a primary scan of the Republic's systems. Main and auxiliary power is out. Life support is stable. I also read that communications are operable.
Should we beam you back, Captain?
Do the sensors read any other ships in the sector?
Besides the trade vessel, this sector is clear, sir.
Mr. Scott, we will continue here. Assist the trade ship and return here. If we need assistance, we'll contact you.
You sure you'll be all right, Captain?
Yes, Scotty, just don't take too long. Kirk out. Well, gentlemen, let's see if we can re-establish power.
Jim, don't forget, there's another survivor on board. We've got to find him.
Okay, well this isn't looking very good. It's also worth noting that if you did not get full points on the last mission and you want to try again, this is the first point at which you can try to reload. You have to, you don't have to sit through the conversations, you can click and skip them, but you still have to click through the entire introduction to this mission to get here. And only then are you allowed to reload. And like I said, because the game doesn't let you load when you start until you finish the introduction, that's not faster either, so you're kind of stuck. Fortunately, I do not have to do that this time. I did have to do it many, many times. This is the 7th and final episode of this game. And for those of you who have played the floppy version of this game, the CD version is considerably extended over the floppy version, which was very short. Basically just this part and then a few dialogue choices before you return to the Enterprise. In this version of the game, we will have to do considerably more, and some of it can be a little bit glitchy in terms of what order you do things in. Can either get you stuck or leave you with no way of getting the maximum score. But let's hope we can do things properly. Let's take a look at this sad remains of the Republic's bridge. I hope Captain Patterson's alright.
You are on what's left of the bridge of the USS Republic.
You don't get a chance to research anything on the computer either, because you're immediately beamed over without a choice. I guess you can look up both the Republic and Patterson at the start of the first mission after you fought them in mock battle.
The view screen is not functioning.
Kind of like how the sound in the background here is subtly wrong, like it's not the normal bridge background sound.
You are on what's left. Main computer banks. They appear to have been damaged.
That's an understatement.
A common tritanium-duranium support beam which has snapped away from the hull. This person is dead.
There was supposedly a survivor on the bridge.
This person is dead. Here is the body of Captain Patterson of the Republic. He didn't die without a fight. This man is dead.
But it seems we were too late for anyone on the bridge. Hopefully the other survivor in sickbay is still okay.
Main computer banks. They appear to have been damaged. This is the captain's chair where the captain's log is stored.
That would definitely be interesting to check out.
These are the helm controls for the Republic. They are currently inactive. These are the navigation controls for the Republic. They are currently inactive. Captain James T. Kirk. This is not one of the best days of his life.
No, I would say so.
Dr. Leonard McCoy. You have rarely seen him as shaken as he is now. Ensign Keege, who wishes that Lieutenant Stackpole had drawn this assignment. Mr. Spock awaiting orders.
What kind of a butcher would do this sort of thing?
Good question.
Dick Patterson and I weren't exactly friends, but this...
I feel sick.
I recommend checking as many of the logs and sensor records as possible.
Let's first see if we can do anything for any of these people. They appear dead on first glance, but still.
They're dead, Jim. All of them. They're dead, Jim. All of them.
I guess not. See what we can find out about the bridge, though.
Tricorder readings indicate that the ship is running on minimal battery power. Only life support and essential systems are currently running. Tricorder readings indicate that... Captain, records indicate that this ship was attacked by a Constitution-class starship.
Any idea of which one it was?
I am reading a record of the transponder signal, NCC 1701. It's the Enterprise, Captain.
Someone must have tampered with the computer records.
May I remind you, Doctor, that the main computer of a Constitution-class starship has safeguards against such an intrusion. Furthermore, I do not see any discrepancies in any of the files that I am able to access.
Yet we know for a fact that we did not attack the Republic. At least not in real battle. Are you sure you're not getting the records confused and this was actually just a record of the mock battle?
My tricorder has picked up the final entry of the Republic.
We're under attack. Our sensors are inoperative. We're trying to get shields up. Our rear deflectors down. It appears our enemy is a Constitution-class starship. We've tried to defend ourselves. We've hailed them, but no response.
That's all there is, Captain.
Dick Patterson was never one for making long speeches.
Okay. This is very peculiar.
The controls have been totally destroyed, undoubtedly due to circuit overloads caused by the battle. The controls have been There are no more computer entries accessible from this station.
Okay. Sounds to me like somebody's trying to frame the Enterprise, making it seem like we are responsible for the destruction of the Republic. We know that that's not true. Hopefully others will believe us. And hopefully we can find evidence of who is truly responsible for this. As well as that other survivor in sickbay. But we will have to look for him in the next video.